Hello students, welcome back to the class of ninth standard, that is a question of space, which is written by Neela Kashyap. In this chapter, as we already came to know, the main character of the story here, that is Vikrant, and here we observe that he met a friend named Anuj who was very close to him. So, in these paragraphs, we came to know how Anuj advises him to keep track of how his body reacts when he is in upset. Vikrant starts noticing that whenever he gets upset, his body starts clenching, mouth gets dry, his head tight at the temples. He feels it when his parents put pressure on him to join tuitions for medical entrance. Unable to bear the pressure, he walks out again. So in this way we were observing the things were going on. So he comes and explains all these things in front of his friend, that is Anuj, who was a photojournalist. And here you have to remember, Vikrant was the only son of doctor parents here. So coming to the 29th paragraph, he says, "Hey, but it does not help," said Vikrant with dejection. Anuj thought for a long while, then he spoke. "If you really want to get control over a situation, there are two more steps for you to practice. The moment an active feeling comes which you think should be controlled, make a note of it, but don't express it." So, in this way, he shows him a number of ways. "What is the last step?" asked Vikrant, almost mechanically. "The last one is difficult," replied Anuj. "This step involves expressing an emotion opposite what you feel and can be done only if you are agitated. You observe this but choose to express calm or warmth instead of coldness." So, in this way, he asks him, Vikrant, when he goes and tells for Anuj that observing his body reactions and emotions, they are not helping him to solve his problems. Then Anuj gives him the most important piece of advice. Here, the parents of Vikrant thinks that this Anuj is not a good boy. They thinks that he is destroying his life. He is making their son not to take good marks in the examination and be disobedient with the parents, whereas Anuj was not such a boy. Though a photojournalist, though he was not having what you mean, though he was not having good education, he has learned to some extent. No doubt he was also educated, but to some extent, though he was a photojournalist, he knew what was humanity and he wanted the parents and the children to live happily. He don't want to bring scratches among the children and the parents, and he is not interested in destroying the life of Vikrant here. So what he does, he advises him a number of times in different directions. Then Anuj gives him the most important piece of advice. What he says, why is he giving advice? Because here Vikrant is not getting the support from the parents. Parents know what they are thinking. They are thinking only about the marks, about the result of the son. They want their son to get good marks. They want him to get admission in the prestigious medical college. That was the only aim of their parents. They never spoke to him about any other things except mathematics, physics, as well as biology. So the child Vikrant want to share some feelings with the parents. When parents were not ready to listen, ultimately he got a good friend named Anuj, and in front of Anuj he began to share some of his feelings. When he was sharing some of the feelings with Anuj was also a very good boy, and he was advising him in a very good manner to overcome the difficulties for Vikrant. And now what happened? Anuj gives him the most important advice. So, what he did, the most important piece of advice, he asked him to express an emotion opposite to what he feels. says that if he is agitated, he should express as calmly as possible. See, he is telling him to express very calmly each and everything in front of his parents. So, what happened later? Vikrant kept up his exercises in self observation. So, we are observing this in paragraph number 34 to 30, 34 and 35. We are observing this. Vikrant kept up his exercises in self observation, practicing emotions he did not feel, even attempting not to express feelings that came up hot and strong. He felt small stirrings of change. He could see things more objectively even when he could not control his reactions. His parents were pushing less, listening more. He noticed that instead of both of them speaking in one voice at points of control or friction, one spoke while the other refrained. This was leading to much more interaction, except on the subject of Anuj. See, he asks him what he advises him. He advises him that he must have to solve the problem very calmly. He asks him to express the emotions opposite to what he feels, says that if he is agitated, he should express very calmly as much as possible. Vikrant tries this and finds that he is able to bear the pressure. Yes, when his attitudes changed, when he was speaking to the parents in a very calm as much as possible, he was expressing the things very calmly. He observed that he was bear to pressure. He was able to bear the pressure much better, and also notices that his parents now willingly listen to his point of view and agree to support him. If not, both of them were attacking for him. And now, when he was very calm and cool, speaking in a very good manner, what happened? The parents here were also listening in a very good manner and they were reacting him very neatly. So now Vikrant was going to understand each and everything here. So, are you still hobnobbing with that character? What is his name? Asked his mother at breakfast one morning. See, now they thought that he had left the friendship of Anuj. They were not knowing his name. And one day, when Vikrant was taking his breakfast, see how his mother is asking, hobnob. It is a verb. With the meaning of this is associate. Go around with. You are wandering with that fellow, no? What is his name? She asked. Asked his mother, Vikrant's mother, at breakfast one morning. His father's silence was expectant. Vikrant observed his temples tighten, his hunched shoulders straighten out in confrontation. His pulse became irregular. His name is Anuj, mummy. He replied. Anuj Jain. Anuj is a friend. In fact, more, he teaches. From him, I have learnt many things, things that are hard to explain. See, until now, the parents of Vikrant had negative notions about Anuj. They had negative notions. So, one day, the mother asked, how is that fellow with whom you are going always round with him? And father, what he did? He just observed his son. At that time, there was a what happened? His Vikrant's shoulders straightened out in confrontation. The meaning of confrontation is disagreement. This he did not liked the words from his parents because Anuj was a boy who had helped him to overcome the difficulties. And very neatly now Vikrant explained everything in front of his parents. Yes, but he will not be sitting for your entrance test, will he? If you lose your grip on class 11, you will never catch up in class 12, said his mother assertively. As Vikrant felt his temples throb, a sudden calm entered his heart. If I am allowed space for new interest, I will also find space for what is important for a career, he said actively. This time it was his father who spoke. Fine, try to achieve a balance. We will be with you. At the end of class 11, Vikrant enrolled for classes at a coaching center for medical entrance test. He did this with an awareness that it was the right thing for him to do. So what happened when the mother asked questions about Anuj? Vikrant very neatly in a positive manner, which was true, explained in front of his parents how Anuj had helped them in every walk of their life. Vikrant tries this and finds that he is able to bear the pressure much better, and also noticed that his parents now willingly listening to his point of view and agreed to support him. With the mental pressure off from him, Vikrant at the end of the class 11, as we already came to know, enrolls for classes at a coaching center for medical entrance test with an awareness that he is doing the right thing. In this way, though Vikrant he had followed the advice and changes in his attitudes and chooses his path with confidence. The present chapter is giving a very important message for us. What is the message that is given here? Here, Anuj plays the role of a friend, philosopher, and guide to Vikrant. Though he is thought of as junkie by Vikrant's parents, in fact, he is the one who brings in a positive change in Vikrant's life. Anuj makes Vikrant realize that getting pressurized and bowing to that pressure is not the way of life. One has to detach oneself and see the problem and respond to that problem in a calm and composed manner. The present lesson is giving a very good message. That is we get through Anu's character. The present message is that we are getting through Anu's character that one need not be highly educated or qualified to have common sense. See here, the parents of Vikrant, though they are highly qualified, how they are behaving? They are behaving in only one way. They were not listening for the child Vikrant, whereas Anuj altered the life of Vikrant, and though he was not so educated than Vikrant's parents, they were doctors and he is a photojournalist. Being a photojournalist, he helped Vikrant, the son of a doctor, the child of a doctor couples who was losing grip on education. By the help of Anuj, Vikrant felt that he must and should have to get a good place, and he started thinking in a positive manner. He did this with an awareness that it was the right thing for him to do. And so, in this way, this chapter ends. And here some of the important words are there, and some difficult words also are there. And the first one here is pounded. Meaning of the pounded here means hit or throb. Cosmos, everything that is there in the universe. Daft, D-A-F-T, daft, it is an adjective which means silly or foolish. Glee, G-L-E-E, this is a noun which means happiness or delight. Junkies, this is also a noun which means useless or unwanted, and this is the word used by Vikrant's parents for Anuj. Very, W-E-A-R-Y, this is an adjective means tired or exhausted. Galvanizing, this is a verb which means provoking or stimulating. Scorn, S-C-O-R-N, scorn, this is a noun which means contempt or disrespect. Kef, this is a verb which means irritated or annoyed. Dejection, this is also a noun which means sadness or depression, going under depression. Here Vikrant was under depression. Agitated, this is an adjective which means disturbed. The next one is objectively, which means This is also an adjective which mean without prejudice, without bias, bias. Refrain, this is a verb which means avoid doing, abstain. Just now as I told for you, hobnob, this is a verb which mean associate or go round with. The last one is confrontation. This is a noun. The meaning of the word is disagreement. So you have to observe in your textbook in page number 93. Glossary is given very neatly. You have to go through all the words and you have to know. And this is also a, and in the bracket, noun, adjective, verb all are given. You have to observe carefully and you have to note down in your notes. With this the chapter ends, and here the class also ends. Let us see in the next class. Until then, have a good